Hey everybody, welcome to Musical Reviews with Mr. B, where we review the ideas we talk about in our instrument lessons. Today's subject is note building. We're going to talk about the pieces we use to build the notes that tell us how long to play a sound. We refer to that as duration. So let's jump in. I'm going to bring up the 5 pieces we'll talk about today. We're going to talk about the notes we use in the beginning of our instrument lessons, so we'll look at these 5 pieces. The first piece is called an open note head. The round part of our musical notes are called note heads, and this one is open in the center. So it's called an open note head. This second one is called a closed note head. Unlike the other one, this is colored in, so it's a closed note head. See the difference between the two? The first one was open on the inside, that's an open note head. This one is closed on the inside, so it's a closed note head. Our third piece is called a stem. Maybe because its up and down direction looks a little bit like a flower stem. Next, we have a flag. Maybe because it looks like a flag hanging from a flag pole. And then lastly, our beam. Maybe that's called a beam because it's thick and strong like a metal beam. And those are our 5 pieces. I'm going to name each of these. I'd like you to repeat the name after me. Open note head. Closed note head. Stem, flag, beam. I'm going to go through that list one more time. This time, instead of me saying the name for you to repeat, I'd like you to try to name it before I do. I'll give you a few seconds to think it through, and then I'll say the name so you can check and see if you were right. All right? Let's start with the first one. Go ahead and name it. That's the open note head. Next. Closed note head. Stem. Flag. Beam. All right, so those are the names of those pieces. Let's chat a little bit about how we use these pieces. For example, if I were to build a note using only the open note head piece, we would have a whole note. To build a whole note, you need only the open note head. And typically that whole note gets 4 beats. It's a longer sound. Now, if I put these 2 pieces together, the open note head and the stem, we come up with a half note. A half note is built using an open note head and a stem. Typically, that note gets 2 beats. Let's change our pieces again. Can you visualize those 2 pieces coming together? If we put the closed note head and the stem together, we get a quarter note. And the quarter note gets 1 beat typically. Let's combine these 3 pieces and make an 8th note. This is what 1/8 note looks like when it's by itself. It's got the closed note head, the stem, and the flag. And one more. If we use these pieces, closed note head, stem, and the beam, we come up with 2/8 notes. Now these 2/8 notes don't have a flag hanging down like we saw before. These 8th notes take their flags and straighten them out and connect them together to make a beam. And we come up with 2/8 notes. Now, we've seen these notes sitting in this way, but we also just want to mention for now, we won't talk much about it, but we do want to mention that sometimes these notes are seen as sort of upside down. Most interesting thing you notice is the stem And the flag of the eighth note there, that flag goes in an upwards direction instead of a downward direction. So these notes can be upside down sometimes as well. All right, those are the 5 pieces that we use to build the notes that we use in our beginning instrument lessons. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.